Welcome to this Vox Markets webinar in conjunction with Turner Pope. Today presenting Robbie Zomar, CEO and Executive Chairman, Brett Mitchell of MGC Pharmaceuticals, the first and currently only medicinal cannabis company to be listed on the London Stock Exchange. As always, if you'd like to submit a question, please do so in the bottom right in the comments box. Right now, I'll hand you over to Robbie.
Thank you, Justin. And I would like to present MGC Pharma, leading in the phytocannabinoid-derived medication. I will jump over the disclaimer and you can read it later. MGC Pharma is a company that builds a vertical integrated pipeline to provide a standardized, affordable phytomedicine to our patients globally. The company already treating patients in Australia, in Brazil, in the UK, where recently we crossed the 2,000 patients and more than 4,000 units that has been administered to the different patients around the world. Our company target is to reach during this year to over 5,000 units per month, which will take us to a break-even. The target of the company is to bring a high compliance and a high standard into the phytomedicine industry and take the cannabinoid-based medication to the next level. In our company, we can see we have a depth board that contain key level from various parts of the industry, from the pharma side through the capital market and the experience in the medical cannabis sector. And on top of them, we have a key executives that are taking the company in the clinical sector, leading by Jonathan Grunfeld, Professor Uri Kramer, and Nadia, which Jonathan was a key leader in the cannabis industry in Israel, one of the first doctors who prescribed cannabis for various indications, in particular palliative care and cancer. Professor Uri Kramer, who took the lead on treating children with epilepsy and cannabis, and Dr. Nadia, who led cannabis companies and clinical research with over 80 different clinical studies. On top of them, we have Amir Polak, who joined recently to the company to take the technical department and to improve our clinical research from production of investigational products and to take it to the stage until it's become a marketing approved medication. And our recent recruitment, Nicole, who will be the head of the global sales department. Nicole is an executive that's coming from the pharma industry and previously from the cannabis industry, leading Tilray Pacific region, and now will help our company to take to the next level of increase our sales and commercialize all of our activities from the research, from the clinical to the product and to the patient. The company holds an EU GMP certificate, which was one of the first issued to cannabis companies in Europe, with a recent extension for another 3 years, allow us to produce phytomedicines, which are recently, we have 3 of them in different clinical studies, 2 of them in phase 2 and 1 of them in phase 3, which are part of the leading research arm of the company. Additional to our existing clinical studies, we have depths of other development of product with our unique IP and know-how, which will be implemented into our clinical development program as we move forward, that will allow us to keep relevance and new product into the market also in the future come. Together with our existing distribution channels and our sales team, we're able to have a rapid growth in patient base around the world, in particular in Australia, in the UK, and the Latin America, with already established of global distribution networks that allow us to reach to patients with affordable and standardized product. The company strategy, in order to maintain the agenda of standardized, affordable phytomedicine, start with holding the whole product chain from developing of the genetics that are being developed by MGC with our own unique hybrids that allow us to have a cost-effective production. Then we're going through the extraction and the clinical studies and the product development to have a unique IP and unique formulation in the market, with finding the right formulation for untreated indication that will bring our product to the uniqueness and in the end the approval of the drug agencies like EMA or the FDA. And final, with distribution channels that giving a reach out to the patient in a cost-effective way that they will be able to get an affordable, standardized phytomedicines. The company holds several products differentiate, where the first one are the investigational products, which are EU GMP standardized products that are running through clinical studies, meeting the highest requirement of quality assurance to make sure that what we are bringing today and tomorrow and next year will be exactly the same product as meeting the pharmaceutical industry guideline. Aside of this product, we have also the phytotherapeutic product, with our special formulations that given the patient and the doctor a much variety of a product according to their needs. And these products are not going through the clinical studies and as such allow us to bring them in much more affordable price to the patient, but still meet the guideline and the requirement of an EU GMP standards. So MGC product line, starting with Canapil, a drug refractory epilepsy treatment with target to reduce the seizures in drug-resistant epilepsy cases. One of the key uniqueness of this product, beside of being a component of several active ingredients, is the large populations that it's going to treat and to help, which are 25% of all the epilepsy cases who are defined as a drug-resistant epilepsy. Following Canapil, we have Cognican, which designed to improve the quality of living in dementia and Alzheimer patients, now running a phase 2 study in Australia. This is a high THC formulation, and we're looking to have it released right after Canapil. And our last product in our pipeline, we have Artemic, which is designed to treat patients with COVID-19. This product is not a cannabis product, but a natural product that's still working with the same mechanism and the same platforms that we did our other component phytomedicine. We're taking variety of active substance from nature, compound them to work together to treat untreated cases. In this case, Artemic designed to treat COVID-19 patients to improve their recovery and to prevent the cytokine storm to happen, and therefore to eliminate the need of oxygen and ICU in COVID-19 patients. The product has recently finished a phase 2 study, which we can see in the graph in front of us, where usually a patient in COVID has to be with over 14 days of recovery, while we were able to narrow down to 50% of the times that the patient need to recover from the COVID symptoms, classified as a new score by the FDA, aside of prevention of the need of oxygen and ventilation in the treatment group. Beside our 3 products that we have in our clinical program, we have additional products that are in preclinical studies and targeted to go to patient and to clinical once we complete and launch Artemic and Canapil. This will allow us to maintain relevance in the market, all the time bring new products, and to make sure that MGC is sitting in the front line of the phytocannabinoid-based medication and nature to medicine strategy. I can say that the next products that we might see entering also into clinical studies will be the treatment of glioblastoma, where we released several articles over the past year on the development of our preclinical studies, and our Incan, a bioactive capsule to treat IBS, that's going to be launched also down 2021. In order to produce our product and to continue bringing product to the market, we have our manufacturing facility in Slovenia that is able to produce 12,000 units per month. It's an EU GMP facility that gives us the ability to produce variety of investigational products based on phytocannabinoids or other natural active substance. In addition, we have another facility in Malta that is under construction with the support of the Maltese government that recently gave us $5 million Australian dollar grant after the development and the results that we got from the phase 2 studies on Artemic. In the future, we will see that Slovenia continue to produce and to provide our research material to our different clinical studies around the world, while our Maltese facility is able to do the batch release of our product globally in a cost-effective and affordable manufacturing site. Aside our clinical program and our manufacturing facility, MGC also established a global distribution partner and platform around the globe, from the Latin America through Central Europe, North Africa, Middle East, Russia, and the Pacific, with headquarters in Australia, providing us the access and the ability to bring our product around the world in an affordable price. I would say that one of our key strategies is holding the distribution and also the clinics with the recent acquisition of our medical cannabis clinics in Australia, that this mechanism and platform will be implemented in other territories that we see them as a strategy, such as the UK, where we believe that our presence will be reinforced with our current listing and moving of our headquarters to the UK, the Latin America, which is an emerging large market that we see it as a bright future for the product going into the mass market in Brazil and the rest of the Latin America territories, as well as improving our dialogue with different groups such as Epilepsy Association and Patient Association, that eventually will bring the right education and the right support to our product aside of our distribution channels. Following the listing early this week, the company was able to oversubscribe and to raise £6.5 million. These funds will be used to complete our phase 3 clinical studies in our TEMIC planned for the first half of 2021, to complete our phase 2 clinical studies on Canapil, and basically achieve the company in the front line of the biotech industry with a completed phase 3 study and heading to marketing authorization of at least one product. And then with the remaining of the fund to support our register of our product in a new market and increase our market shares in the sales in Russia, Middle East, Europe, and position the company in the front line of the cannabis industry worldwide. Thank you all. And now back to Justin to continue with the questions.
Excellent stuff, Robbie. Thanks for that presentation. It's now question time. Also joining us is Brett, of course, Executive Chairman. Guys, thank you. Are you all set for the questions?
Yes.
Okay. Brett, you there?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, excellent stuff. Okay, let's start off with this then. First of all, can you offer an overview of the cannabinoid market size, the largest market, growth size of the markets, and your current and your pipeline of products are in, basically?
Yeah, thank you. It's a good question to ask, especially in this sector where we can see that the market is divided into two major segments. One of them is we can see the North American, more recreational style that at the moment is valued in billions of dollars. We can see the Canadian market thrives over the past few years. And then we have the pharmaceutical side more as a phytomedicines or cannabis-based medicines. Then the most famous one was now GW that has been acquired for $7 billion. That gives you the segment of the $1 billion value market of the pharmaceutical. So MGC is part in the pharmaceutical side, but in the total value of the market, we say that it's $1 billion market. It's one of the largest growing markets that we can see these days.
A lot of stuff. And where is your, geographically, where are your markets then, Robbie? Where are you aiming for?
As a company, we're operating in Europe, but our sales and market is a global market. We have positioned ourselves in Brazil, Latin America, Central Europe, UK, and up to Australia and New Zealand. So we are looking on the pharmaceutical market and the cannabis market as a global market, not particularly just Europe or just Germany.
Okay. Second one is, could you detail Artemic's forthcoming phase 3 trial in terms of expected patient numbers, geographical locations, and expected time schedules to completion and expected costs, please?
Yes. Artemic is our last development product that runs a phase 2 and completion it in December last year, and now going to enter to a phase 3 that will be around 250 to 300 patients over 3 global sites in Israel, in Brazil, and in Europe. The targeting to finish it in the next 3 to 6 months, with intermediate report in 3 months and completion of the study in 6 months. The study will be fully funded by the raise that we just completed early this week. The results that we anticipating should be in the line of the phase 2 and the intermediate report of the phase 2 and the preclinical, which will demonstrate the improvement of recovery of patients with COVID-19, eliminate the risk of ICU and ventilation with infected patients that are coming to the hospital. And at the moment, 20% of them are in need of ventilation and unfortunately also seeing death. So to prevent this to happen by preventing the cytokine storm to happen. And basically this is what we're going to see in the same line in the phase 3.
Okay, next question is post-pandemic. What are future uses of the product? I'm assuming this is Artemic, is it still?
Yes. So I assume that it's related to the Artemic, and as a product is treating the cytokine storm, and cytokine storm are not exclusive to COVID-19, but first of all, a lot of other viral diseases, infection diseases are conducting the cytokine storm, like pneumonia. But the main target of the product, it will be the immunology treatment, supporting similar to CAR T treatment. So the market of the Artemic is not stopped just on the COVID-19, but have much more longer and bigger market as a general treatment of cytokine storm, much way after the pandemic will be over.
I see. What is phytomedicine?
Phytomedicines are basically medicine, as we all know, but produced out of phytocannabinoid or plant material based. It can be cannabis, it can be artemisinin, like we have in the Artemic, and basically any medicine that standardized as a regular medicine, but the raw material is not synthetic raw material, but plant-based material.
I see. How does MGC see its offerings of over-the-counter, special access, and prescriptive products developing in future years?
So at the moment, cannabis medicines are RX medicine, so it's prescribed medicine that we see our patient base growing in Australia, in UK, and Brazil. Aside of this, MGC is also looking for OTC over-the-counter medicine based of cannabinoids, which will be able to purchase them similar to paracetamol or Advil, basically over the counter in the pharmacy, which is more wider range of products and allow us to get a much larger patient base. But it will need to demonstrate with much more safety and efficacy. So it's also one of our strategy in our pipeline. But at the moment, most of our products are RX, which mean entering under the early patient access scheme and need to be prescribed by the doctors.
Okay, get comfortable. This is a long question. Here we go. Most early stage drug development companies in late stage clinical development seek to attract a partnership or collaboration with one or more large pharmaceutical groups in order to support late stage development, product approval, and commercialization. Is this a route MGC has considered, or does it intend instead to access the wider market independently using its own networks and distribution agreements? And if so, why has this route been chosen?
So long questions, short answer.
Okay.
First of all, MGC as a biopharma company, we intend to do everything in-house. We have the capability to do most of it, but we are not ruling out any collaboration or partnership with one of the large pharma companies. What is will come and we can explore it, but dominantly we will do it everything in-house.
Okay. How are you different from other cannabis stocks listed, particularly in Australia and Canada?
The main difference is, as I say, in the segment of the market. The North American companies are mostly dealing with similar to recreational or adult use of cannabis, similar to the Canadian companies and the North American companies. We are more in the pharma sector, more like GW Pharma, which is a smaller sector. Also in Australia, we can see it as we have some other companies that are similar in the pipeline of doing clinical trial and research in order to get a marketing authorization approval on our product. So we see ourselves as one of the leaders in this segment, especially when we're entering into phase 3 studies and phase 2 studies on our product, having our own EU GMP pharma facility. Basically, we're a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility, and we see ourselves in this segment of the pharmaceutical side and not in the recreational side.
Understood. Okay. Maybe one for you, Brett, here. Why have you chosen to dual list? Do you plan on moving your listing from Australia in time?
Thanks, Justin. Well, definitely in time, it's a distinct possibility. But the reason that we chose to seek a dual listing is for twofold. One, our core operations are based in Europe and key markets, UK, Ireland, which we already have a presence in and we're selling products into, but also into some of the key European markets and markets in the Middle East. So geographically, it made sense for our operations, potential markets, but also most 90% of it, the staff of MGC Pharma are based in Europe and in Israel. So that's the first part of the answer. The second part is, the UK has very deep pools of capital, has a very deep understanding of the pharma industry, and we're in the cannabis sector, but essentially we are a pharma company.
Understood. Okay. Next question. Are you fully funded for all your clinical trials?
Yes. As the funds are covering our phase 3 study for Artemic to complete them and to proceed with marketing authorization requests, and for the phase 2 study of Canapil, which is a drug for treatment of refractory epilepsy, which will be conducted in Israel and Europe.
Okay. What revenues, if any, have you achieved so far?
Well, our revenue growth has been quite spectacular, Justin. We in Australia, and we're an Australian company, but we have financial years that end in June. In the year ended June 2019, we had zero revenue and sales of our pharmaceutical products. In our first year of production and sales, which ended in June 2020, we went from zero the year before to 2 million Australian dollars in sales, or roughly over £1 million of sales. And we are firmly on track to exceed that by at least 50% in the current financial year ending June 21, which can be evidenced from our recent December quarterly cash flow report, and will be shown through our December half-year report, which once EYs complete their half-year audit will be published before the end of February.
Understood. Okay. One question is coming here about actually the market's targeting. So why are you not targeting the US market?
If I can say it in a simple way, we are sitting in Europe. We are operating in Europe. The largest market in Europe is the UK, the LSE. And also to be the first one on the LSE got its uniqueness, and it's part of our strategy. So at the moment, we see the UK market is more than sufficient to our needs, and we see the growth of the market, especially in the recent years. We are not ruling the NASDAQ or the Wall Street, but at the moment, I think that for our company, the next step is the LSE, and we did it, and we're going to get stronger in it, and then to explore others if needed.
Okay, well, in fact, that leads on to the next question. The last question here really is, what are your ambitions for MGC Pharma in the long term?
To have marketing authorization on our product, to be not just biopharma companies that are in development, but with marketing authorization product in the market, treating millions of patients around the world, and be a proper pharma company that recognize and treating in an affordable way, standardized phytomedicine.
Excellent stuff. Well, guys, thanks for that. That's all the questions. And you'll be glad to know you have been as well the most followed company on Vox Markets in the last few days. You're top of the pile there, top number one. And I'm looking right now. You're there right now. So if people want to follow you, of course, don't forget, hit that follow button on Vox Markets. MXC is the ticker. Guys, thanks for joining me. Hopefully we'll catch up in the not too distant future. Brett and Robbie, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity.